Last month we heard something about the country being broke, to which the Minister of Finance rose to say that it was not true. But the governors had gone on the monthly pilgrimage with their caps in their hands to go and collect money, and they returned and said that there was no money to share. What is the meaning of all that in the scheme of things?
Well, first, I don't think it's fair to say let's go cap in hand to look for revenue in the center. The money belongs to the states as much as it belongs to the federal government. But the government they are paying deductions on their money, which are Nigeria's money. Yes. Oil price, well, the story previously had been about shortfalls in output. Now we overcame that earlier in the first half of the year. Output has started to recover. Now the scourge is from the global economy. But the price was still as high as $115 a barrel in June. So it's softened since June. We've been doing oil price benchmarking since 2006 over the report. What happened to the excess? The proceeds of the benchmark last year? These are hard questions you have to ask. You cannot be setting 78 naira benchmark or 78 dollars benchmark when the average was 110, and then it drops to 80, and it's starting to fall back on. Suddenly, no money. These are issues. If we are adopting an oil price rule, we should adopt the rule in a transparent manner. So the savings accrued from the benchmark should be available for us to use when prices fall. Basically, that's
the excess money from the excess paid account.
That's right. Because if the benchmark was below 80 last year, but the average was above 100. If the average is dropping to 90 this year, there should be something to fall back on, but there's nothing. So we need to address that. The view about whether this softening of oil price is going to be temporary or permanent, I don't think we are going to stay in this situation for 2 years. Remember, this development is new. This happened in the second half of this year, and it dipped particularly in the month of October. Looking very closely at the situation, there are oil producers that could defend the price, but are choosing not to. The OPEC companies, the Saudi Arabia and other OPEC. As a matter of fact, they've been cutting prices. They claim so that they are defending their market share. The other reality to it is that they believe that the glut has been created by newcomers to the oil business. I mean, people who just found oil, and they are not as competitive as them in terms of price. The kind of oil that they get is very expensive to produce. Makes sense at $100 a barrel or more. Below $100 a barrel, production in a country like Canada, it's better for them to buy than to produce. And that's $75 a barrel. American oil production plants also will be hot. So they are trying to hold the prices down to frustrate the production costs of the newcomers.
Yeah, but US is one of the biggest buyers, and they're not buying as much as they've been buying.
They are becoming one of the biggest producers now.
Yes. So they're not buying as much as they used to. So if you say that this fall may not continue, are we going to find new buyers who are going to buy from us, and therefore the price will go up again? If the biggest buyer has stopped buying because he's now producing, he's never going to come back to buy from us.
The American production is not as reliable as OPEC production, for example. They produce from rocks and stuff like that. And it's not the view from Halliburton, the theory of Halliburton is that it's not going to last. And let's say 2-3 quarters they should, they're most likely to run out of steam. And this blood will fizzle out and prices will go back.
So the should go on its knees and pay.
No, not pay. It's analysis. The kind of results that you have in Nigeria and the Middle East, once it's there, it's there. But the type that America is getting could, fizzle out, and you have to go and start afresh. So it's not much of a threat. And in like 6 months, in 2 quarters, 3 quarters,
things should stabilize. Yesterday, we heard that the central bank was not selling dollars because there was pressure because of this fall in oil prices. There was a huge demand for dollars, and our naira had also dropped. Can you please explain the relation between all these things?
Right. Our main source of foreign exchange is oil. So when oil price drops as steeply as it has gone in the last 4 months, we expect that we'll have a problem sustaining our supply of foreign exchange, and that will be a threat to the value of the naira. So that's where it's coming from. If oil prices have been an average of $115 a barrel in June, and it's $83 a barrel today, right away that you worry that you are getting close to the situation where Nigeria will not be able to hold its the value of the naira. If they speculate that they're likely to even move the value of the naira earlier, so the central bank cannot sit down and watch. They're trying to do things to ensure that there's no disorderly movement in the value of the naira.
Okay, when you were talking earlier, you said something about Nigeria's diversification policy of the federal government. Yes, it's taken with. We have 50% of about 50% of the income of the federal contribution to the GDP of the country about from non-oil sector, from services,
and the other 25% from the industry.
Okay, how can the government, because the revenue so far is minimal coming from that sector, as the non-oil sector is minimal compared to the oil sector, and with these prices the way they are, we can't just sit back and wait for the prices to return to begin to rise, then say, okay, we are now enjoying revenue. How, if you were to advise the government, how would you advise them to move, to pay attention to the sector so that we can begin to draw revenue from there? Maybe not as much as we are drawing from oil, but at least begin to raise the revenue from that angle.
Well, there's a limit to what you can do in the short term. There's very little you can do in 1 quarter or 2 quarters. But the message, the issue up there on the table, forever, that when the value-added tax was introduced in 1995 at 5%, they said 5% was introductory rate. After 2 years, the rate would go up and the coverage would widen. It will be 20 years next year. It has remained at 5% and the coverage has remained the same. So that's, government doesn't feel any motivation to raise non-oil revenue because there's cheap revenue from oil. That's why we're in this situation. So this discussion should not be motivated by the current low level of oil price, because we said when oil price fell to $45 in 2008, the news came up, but as soon as they went back up, everybody was fizzled out. So we need to think seriously about it. It's something that we need to do. 5% VAT is low.
But besides the other country, there are other taxes, the tax regime in the country is not even being followed.
Yeah, but if the normal economic activity going on in the country is 70 trillion, and the revenue you get from normal activity is just slightly below 3 trillion, that's laziness on the part. The revenue is there, we are not collecting it, we are not doing anything to collect it. I do think Nigeria has to do more to let the government revenue, reflect the economic activity we have acknowledged to be taking place in the economy.
Okay, let's look ahead a little bit. What is the benchmark on which the 2015 budget is based?
Well, it's still, being discussed. Figures like 78, 79 coming on the table.
Okay, so we're still rather safe.
I actually do think that it's misleading to try and tie the benchmark to the price of oil today. The average oil price for this year is going to be at least $100 a barrel, regardless of the fact that we are at 83 now.
Okay.
So the benchmark should reference the average.
Average, okay.
Not
So
the lowest.
There'll still be a
There's 115 4 months back. So 83 today, we could get back to 100 for the year end.
It should balance out.
Yes. So benchmark is not about rate. It's now the reason you benchmark is to avoid a situation in which your revenue fluctuates with the price. So this is the savings. What you've saved on the benchmark from January to June.
Now,
If you have, then we should be able to hold a benchmark that smoothens our spending plans.
okay. Now, should this trend continue, what should we expect?
Should the trend
Continue, which you say cannot be sustained over the next quarter, 2 quarters.
Yes, it's not a permanent development.
So we have the next quarter
Like
to
in
think about.
2008, we dropped the benchmark to $45 because the price fell to $45. And it was also clear that the contraction, as steep as it was in 2008, it was clear that it was going to be short-lived. In the end, it lasted 3 quarters. That situation was far more serious than we are now. We had the unemployment rate and global warming. So we found that by the second half of 2009, it was clear that the benchmark selected was unreasonably low. Before 2009 ended, we were at 70, above 70. So we should protect the budget from the fluctuation of, benchmark is down to the average is most likely, still going to sustain the benchmark. So I don't think we should go below.
At the end of, let's look at your final word of advice to government and Nigerians basically who are looking more to keeping food on their table and moving daily.
Excuse me. That the reality of the global situation is that there will be good moments, period of global cyclical upturns as you saw in the 2 years from June 2012 to June 2014. But that cannot be the only situation. As we learn to deal with social waves, we learn to deal with anything, we should keep at the back of our mind that downfalls are part of the reality. And we should prepare to deal with the downfalls, whether as government, as private companies, or as individuals. We should not make the worst of every contraction in either global commodity prices or the stock market. This change happened, and from all indications, there is no reason why the current contraction will be permanent. It's most likely to be temporary. Both the contraction in the commodity markets and the commodity prices and the contraction in the stock market. So the outlook for the Nigerian economy still remains positive. Central Bank will do what it can to manage, the shortfalls in foreign exchange. Government will do what they can to manage the shortfalls in revenue. What is it? But beyond the first half of next year, we should be fine.
We should be fine. we pray, right? Nigerians, we pray a lot in this country, so we put that in prayer as well.
But I would say that thank you for coming. We've been looking at the economy in Nigeria amidst the sliding oil prices, but as Dr. Taylor said, there's no hope lost. We should stay focused and we'll get better. So stay focused and we'll be back shortly.